I've been talking a lot lately about how to go salesless. You sell without sales calls, but 85% of our clients still choose to sell with sales calls. And it's perfect for you if you're early stage, learning your market, or frankly, you just love it and you're geared that way. The danger is this. Most people think that sales are lost at the end of a call after you presented your offer and the price and you're dealing with questions and objections. The truth is, almost all the sales are lost in the first 3 to 5 minutes. And if you don't have a plan to how to assert call control in the first couple of minutes, it's game over. David Sandler from the Sandler Sales Institute used to say that if you don't have a system for selling, you'll always be at the mercy of your prospects' system for buying. And their system for buying is pump you for free information, balk, make excuses, objections, and stall. Let's fix that right now. Today we're going to do 4 things. First, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what the whole sales call looks like, just high level. Then we're going to dive into this first 3 to 5 minutes. We'll talk about rapport. Most coaches get this horribly wrong and end up like trying to make friends with their prospects, building a bunch of rapport, and really we just need 20 or 30 seconds so that we connect and then we can move on. Otherwise we get friend zoned. Second, we're going to talk about laying out the agenda, step by step, how to tell people what's going to happen in the sales call so they trust you. They're going to feel like they're in complete control. But the truth is they're just going to go, oh, now that I've got control, I don't need it. And they're just going to go where you lead. And third, we're going to get them out of information gathering, like I'm here to get free info out of you, and into I'm here to make a real decision and lean into the call. It's going to be super useful. Let's get started. So I've done hundreds of sales calls, closed millions of dollars in coaching over the phone and on Zoom. The system I'm going to lay out for you right now is simple and it works. I'm going to give you the overview right away. And it's taken people from converting 10%, like a great friend of mine, a great client called Rob, from 10% conversion rate, learned this for an hour and closed 60% from then on out, just because it's simple and it works. So our Black Belt strategy session has 3 phases. First phase lasts for about 3 to 5 minutes. That's what we're going to focus on today. And its job is to lead the prospect. We want to establish some call control, make sure that we're leading, they're following, not the other way around. At the end of this, they're going to be ready to go deep and talk about their stuff vulnerably. The second phase is where we stretch the gap. This is where we talk results that they want, current reality they're in, and roadblocks that are in the way. We want to create some tension. Marketing and sales is the creation of desire-based tension. And so our job in Stretch the Gap is to start with the mountain where they want to go, drop down to where they are right now, and then stretch it with all the obstacles in the way. This will vary from industry to industry and call to call, but let's call it 20, maybe it's 25, 30 minutes. The last step is to get hired. It sounds silly, but the language I use is really deliberate. You lead, you stretch. They're verbs that you do. Get hired is something that they do to you. And that's on purpose. I never want a prospect to feel sold to. I always want to hold them in an open hand and let them buy me. Feels like it's passive, but it's anything but. If we set this up right, they will froth and they will buy. And this is our last, maybe it's 10 minutes, and we're walking through how the program works using a distinct framework called the 6 Magic Pills. Today, I want to give you the overview of the 3 things you do in each session, and then we're going to go deep into the top row. Is that cool? Better be cool, because that's what we're doing. So we get on a call. The very first thing we want to do is we want to create some rapport. Each one of these has a keyword, just so you know what the step is, and then an icon that represents it. The icon for rapport, a cat. I'm not great at drawing cats, but it's got some whiskers, a couple of eyes, and a tail. We build rapport. Why is it called a cat? You don't need to overthink this. Ask them about their cat, right? Where are you in the world today? New York. Cool, let's get started. That's all you need to do. Most coaches way overbake rapport, and it kills them. I'll show you how to do it well in a sec. Step 2 is we need to lay out the agenda. Most people haven't been on a call like this or haven't been on a call like this with you. They're going to have their defenses up, and we need to set the record straight, let them know what to expect, how it's going to work, so they can lean in and trust you. Agenda, super simple. We're just going to give them the 3 stages of the call, okay? We'll break that down together in a sec. Third, have you ever noticed that you and the prospect get on the sales call with 2 really different goals? You'd like to sign a client, and let's call it like it is. They just, like in a perfect world, they just get free information and bounce. So what we need to do is squash that cockroach and get them to expose why they're here. We call that the decision question. Get them to reveal that there's an actual legitimate problem to solve. That's our lead the prospect section. Then we stretch the gap. I'm going to do this in 3 stages. We start with the result. There's a lot of sales training which teaches you to dig for pain. We start with pain and we get them all perturbed and agitated about what's going on for them, and then we go to what they want instead. I used to do that. I found it suboptimal. Here's why. If I get someone deep down in their pain, like in a hole, And then we talk about what they want. Most of the time, what they wanted was to get out of the hole. So they go from like -5 to a 0 on a scale. What I do instead is I take them to the top of the mountain first. Where do you want to go? And then we go to where they are, and that might be the -5. And then we stretch the gap, and we end up, instead of having like a 5-degree delta, we can have like a 10 or 15-degree delta, and that elastic band is super stretchy. There's a lot of tension, and the sales is much easier. So we always go to result first. So the icon here is just like happy face. You'll know in their energy when you talk about where they want to go, they're pretty upbeat about the whole thing. Of course, they're talking about what they want. Then reality. Where are they right now? This is where it starts to get slightly less fun. When we talk through their current reality, their emotion will be a lot flatter. We're just going to run them through what we call conversion categories. Another video about that, which is like, what are the areas that you can help them with? And then we just look at it through future. Where do you want to be? Current, where you are. And then all the obstacles in the way, which leads us to the third part, which is roadblocks. They're going to give us a list of all the things which are slowing them down, getting in the way, stopping them from getting what they want. Their tone's going to drop here. Because now this is where they go, oh crap, I can't do this alone. When we do that, we've got a really good sense of where they want to be, where they are right now, everything that's holding back. You can actually be useful as a coach. More importantly, probably for the first time ever, they've just explained their whole situation to a stranger, and now they're begging that you could solve it. Okay, they're going to be leaning into going, what can you help me? This is where we move from diagnostic to declarative. Here's what you should do about it. The first thing we want to do is we want to check in for value. It seems like a weird question, but the question I always ask is, okay, so this is what I've heard, blah, 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 blah. What's been most valuable for you so far? You haven't really done anything, haven't fixed anything, but you're the first person who's ever like unpacked their whole situation, has got a 360 view. And for most people, that's crazy useful. The next two I'm going to do in tandem because we don't do this one and that one. We do this one, that one, then this one, 5 or 6 times. So the first thing we do is we ask a 3-question loop. Remember before I said we want to hold the prospect with an open hand and let them choose to buy? That's what we're really doing here. What most people do is they get to the part where they finally get to do the talking and they just like vomit all over the prospect, and the prospect gets completely overwhelmed and overloaded. You tell them about a bunch of stuff they don't really care about. They get overwhelmed. It starts to sound like hard work because you've just like talked at them for 10 minutes and they tune out. Then you lose the sale. And so what we want to do is we want to show them how the program works, one magic pill at a time. So this is the 6 magic pills. So icons, magic pills, pill bottle, with a pill. We're going to give them 1 pill at a time. And then after each pill, we're going to ask them 3 specific questions so that they get it, they want it, and they want to know what's next. If we do this right, they're going to be almost like tug-of-warring you across the conversion line instead of you trying to push them. It's a magical thing, okay? So that's an overview of how the whole sales process works. What we're going to do right now is we're going to dive deep into how to lead your prospects in the first 3 to 5 minutes so that everything after this is easy. Is that cool? Let's get back to it. Okay, so in Black Belt, when we skill drill this, in fact, this whole training came out of a skill drill, which is one of the live sessions we run in Black Belt, where we run people through the paces, not to learn the strategies, but to drill. The truth is that because this stuff is a system, I should be able to wake you out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and go, hey, magic pill number 3, go. Or, hey, rapport, go. Or, give me the agenda. You should just be able to get up and do it. So in Black Belt, we run a conversion audit. Listen to the sales calls, run it through the prompts, and we're going to get a score, a red, yellow, green traffic light score for each of the 9 boxes. Let's start with rapport, the cap. People lose sales because they lose call control. And they lose call control in the very first 30 or 60 seconds because they don't even know what rapport is. So let's define terms. Rapport is defined as a relationship of trust and responsiveness. But what most coaches do is they try to earn your trust and ask for responsiveness. Sounds good, but leaders don't do that. Imagine there's a house that's burning on fire. A fireman, breaks down the door, comes and finds you in your bedroom. He doesn't try to earn your trust or ask you to follow him. He assumes trust and he demands responsiveness. Get down low, come with me, do it now. Right? Rapport is a relationship of trust and responsiveness, but we don't we don't try to earn their trust or, ask for responsiveness. By the time they got on the call, the brand width has done its job. They're here for a reason. It's to understand that they're here because they're the one with the problem. They think you might be the one with the solution. So you're the leader. So act like it. All we do when we build rapport is we find one thing. We just got to say something to start the call. And so for me, it's usually, hey, I'm here in Noosa in Australia. Where are you in the world right now? And they'll tell me, I'm like, great. Let's get started, shall we? And they're like, okay, done. Don't overthink it. If we're spending more than 20 or 30 seconds on rapport, we're wasting our time. I don't need to know their Auntie Flo's name. or what high school they went to. It's just not relevant. People think that if people like you more, it'll help. The truth is that the marketing should have done a great job. Our marketing job is to get people to an 8 or a 9 or a 10 in terms of likeliness to sign up to sign up as a client and give you money. So the sales call really assumes trust and demands responsiveness. Is that cool? So in our sexy rapport script, it's very simple. Ask them about their cat. Of course, it's not really their cat. It's just make small talk for 10 seconds. Have them reply. Yeah, ask them a question, have them reply, move on. Which leads us to the most important thing in this whole process, the agenda. Oh, by the way, dude, I probably should have said this at the start. This worksheet that I'm running through that has like the outline of the whole sales call, the first 3 minutes, the stretch the gap piece and the bit at the bottom, it's probably helpful. If you want to get a copy, I would just put a link in the description down below. Grab it. You can use it to follow on here, but also to use on your next sales call and crush the deal. Is that all right? Now it's time to get down to business. Most people have no idea how a call like this is supposed to go. And so if you don't have a system for leading them through it, they're just going to default to their own. And because they're scared and worried that you're there to take money out of their wallet, they're going to have their guard up. The easiest way to reduce their fears is to replace their, here's what I'm scared about is going to happen, with a plan that they're calm and confident in. So here's what we're going to say word for word. I've got a little framework I like to use for calls like this to make sure that I understand everything I need to know about you and you can walk out of here with a great plan. Is it okay if I run you through it? Sure. Yes, please, Mr. Coach. That sounds great. There's really 3 things I want to do today. First, I want to get really clear about where you want to go, kind of what results you want to create, what this would look like, and obviously you customize this for your niche, what things would look like in 3 months, 6 months, and a year's time if this went really well. You just adjust your time frame, but always have like something short and something long. The clearer I am about where you want to go, the easier it's going to be for both of us to put a plan together to get you there. Is that cool? Yeah. Number 2, once I know where you want to go, let's have a look at what's going on right now. I want to know what's working, what's not, what you've tried, what's and all. I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. The clearer I am about exactly how things are going, the easier it's going to be for me to connect that to the outcome we just talked about. Cool? They don't need to explain a lot right now, okay? They just need to understand that you've got a plan and their job is to say, yep. Third, once I know where you are and where you want to go, then it's just a question of us identifying what are the obstacles in the way? What are the things which are slowing you down, getting in the way, stopping you from getting what you want? We're going to turn each of those problems into a project plan so that you can get where you want to go. Does that make sense? They'll be like, yep, perfect. So we're going to add one more sexy bit at the end, but I want you to understand what we just did together. Firstly, we just said that on our call together, we're going to do the things which are in our strategy session framework. We're going to talk about where they want to go. Then we're going to talk about how it is right now. Then we're going to talk about the roadblocks. We just told them that we were going to do the thing that we want to do. Does that make sense? Second, for each one of these 3 steps, where you want to go and where you are and what's in the way, we tied it to the outcome that they really want, which is I want a plan I can be confident in. Because the truth is, we don't really sell coaching. We sell confidence. We sell certainty. If you were paying attention, you probably noticed the other dynamic that just went on. In that little thing, I've got an agenda that I like to use for conversations like this so that we can both walk out here with a really clear plan. Can I walk you through it? Yep. There's 3 things I want to do. First, I want to get clear about where you want to go. Second, I want to find out where you are right now. What's and all, blah, blah, blah. Is that okay? Yep. Third, once I know where you are and where you want to go, then we blah, blah, blah. For each of those, I tied them to plan. That's what they want. But the other thing that happened was this. Every time I said, I want to do this, is that okay? Yep. Then we'll do this. We'll do this first. Is that cool? Yep. Is that cool? Yep. Is this cool? Yep. I just like 4 yepped. Not because I think that if somebody says yes 4 times, they're more likely to say yes at the end, because that's just bullshit. People are smarter than we give them credit for. Sales trainers, you've got a lot to answer for. But we do it because at the end of that little interaction, it's really clear that I'm the person who asks the questions and you're the person who answers them. I'm the leader and you're the follower. We've just established call control, and that's game changing. So we've explained, I've got a framework. We want to do these 3 things. Focus on where you want to go, the result for this, for benefit, which is you get a plan. Where you are right now for benefit, so we can make you a great plan. Third, the roadblocks in the way, so we can get your plan. Is that okay? Cool. Now here's the thing. It's still possible that after laying out an agenda, you might have somebody who's like a little bit defensive and you might feel a little bit of pushback on the call. And if you ever feel pushback, it's because at some level they feel like you pushed first. That's why it's called pushback. What we need to do is we need to make it safe for them to pull the emergency stop button or take you in a different direction. They'll never pull it. They'll never press the button, but they need to feel like they can so they don't have to. So here's what we say. Again, so that's a loose framework I like to use for conversations like this to make sure that I know exactly what I need to know from you so that together we can put together a great plan for you. But this conversation's about you, not about me. So if there's something that I don't ask you about that you think is really important, or you think I need to know about this, or you just want to tell me about that piece here because it's important to you, I want you to tell me about that. This call's yours, not mine. You're in full control. Is that cool? Yeah. So what you've just done is gone, hey, here's the remote control. You can take us anywhere you want. They're going to take it and go, oh, thanks. Now I feel really safe. And just hand it straight back to you. And you're in control again. But it feels safe and there's zero pressure. Is that elegant or what? Booyah. So that's step 2, the agenda. The third bit is money. I said before that you and your prospects get on the call with different goals. Most often, coaches want to get on a sales call like this to sign a client, to get on a new client and walk away with some money. The prospect wants to get on because they've got a problem and they're looking for free information. And what we need to do is get them out of the information collecting phase and into the, I've got a real problem that I want to go deep with somebody on so I can pay money so I can get it solved. So years ago, when I first moved to the Northern Beaches in Sydney, my friend Dale had a personal trainer called Daniel. He's like, hey, you should work out with this guy. Dan, he's great. I'm like, cool, that'd be good. I want to get in shape too. And maybe I could join the workouts. We'd do it together. So I called Dan. I get his number and I buzz him and I'm like, hey, Dan, my name's Taki. My mate Dale's working out with you. And he said that I should give you a call, see if we can work out together, as my PT. And what he said blew my mind. He said, that's great, Taki, but why are you calling me and why are you calling me now? It's like, oh, all of a sudden, I wasn't in get information from this dude mode. I was in explain to this guy why I think he's amazing and why I desperately need him right now mode so he'll actually take me on as a client. Genius. So I stammered and I explained the thing. I'm like, that was so good. I'm going to do it on every sales call from now on. And that's what we do. It's called the decision question. So before we get started, I'm really curious. I'd love to know why me and why now? Now, what they answer is really important. It's going to be a really good gauge about whether we proceed or whether we don't, or whether we need to push back and get a better answer. If you think about those things, why you and why now, which one of those is most important? Well, they might think you're great, but if there's no problem, they're not going to buy. The most important answer is the why now. So I want to walk through both of these really quickly so you can go deep and do this well. So if you say, so why me and why now? They might say, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, there's hundreds of people out there in the world you could have spoken to. Why'd you choose to work with, to get on this call with me? And they might say, well, I've been following you on YouTube, or I've seen your stuff on socials, or my friend blah, blah, blah is working, like my friend Dale's working with you. That's cool. That's nice. I mean, it's good for the ego. All that does is just remind them that you're the person who might have the answer and they're the person who's looking for answers. That's important. It's not the most important thing. Okay, that's great. That makes sense. Why now? What I mean specifically is what's going on in your business right now that makes this the right time to talk to solve the problem. And then just let them tell you. And they're going to get really honest really quickly about what's going on for them. If they don't. I remember chatting with a prospect and he gave me a woolly answer for why now. I was like, okay, so let me ask this a different way. On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is this for you to do something about right now? And the guy goes, 8? I was like, okay, well, your number said 8, but your voice said 3. What's really going on? So, no, you're right. The moment we've got a good answer to why now and an okay answer for why me, let's proceed. If there's no problem to solve, we're wasting each other's time and you should just bounce. Our job is to get real. If you do feel like the prospect's kind of resistant, like they're holding back because they're defensive and they're protecting themselves from you, like sales pouncing on them. Most sales people have commission breath. I understand it. The prospect's just doing probably the thing that's smartest for them to do. I get that. So we just need to disarm that. Remember earlier I said our job's to hold them in the palm of the hand and let them choose to buy? Here's what I believe. I learned this from an old friend of mine called Ari Galpa, who taught people how to cold call. He said the goal isn't to make a sale. The goal is to get to the truth of whether a sale even exists or not. I think about it like this. My job is to find out what's actually going on. We're either going to be a match or we're not. If we're not a fit, it's like a light switch. There's no dimmer. Like it's on or it's off. We're a match or we're not. If we're a match, of course they're going to buy. And if we're not a match, of course they're not going to buy. So our job is to get both of us honest and real enough to be able to figure that bit out. Is that cool? So if you ever get pushback and you believe that like I believe that, you just say, listen, it feels to me like you think this is a sales call. It's not. I don't care whether you buy or not. I just want to find out if I can even help you or not. And right now I don't. So can we figure that out together? If we are a match, of course we'll work together. And if we aren't, of course we won't. So let's just be honest and figure out what's going on and see if I can actually be useful. If I can't, I'll send it to somebody else. Is that cool? Yeah. And we just disarm by being real. So let's recap this together. There's 3 core chunks to a sales call. We lead the prospect, we stretch the gap, we get hired. The first 2 are verbs, things we do. The last thing, if we set it up right, they buy from us instead of us selling to them. It's a completely different vibe. I don't know if you've ever been hard sold into something and then the coach is wondering why maybe you're not the best client. Anyone who's hard sold into something isn't going to be a great, you've had a bad experience on the way in, it sets up a really bad taste for the way through. So we want them to buy, not us to sell. Then we went deep into the first 3 steps of the sales call. How do we lead the prospect? First, we build rapport. We don't, try to build trust and ask for responsiveness. We assume trust. We demand responsiveness. We lead. They follow. Ask them about your cat is just code for, where are you in the world? I'm here. Amazing. Let's get started. Done. Then we lay out the agenda. I've got a loose framework for a conversation like this that I like to run through so that we can have a useful conversation and we both walk out of here with a really good plan for you. Is that cool? Yep. I'm going to figure out where you want to go, where you are right now, what's holding you back. And we build the mountain first because then we get an even bigger stretch than if we start in the hole and their goal is, I'd like to get out of the hole, please. And then the decision question. Thanks, Dan Churchill. Why are you calling me and why are you calling me now? That's great. That sets up everything else. Sales don't get lost in the end. They get lost in the beginning. If you implement this, even just this first 3 minutes, the rest of your sales calls are going to be much, much easier. Again, if you want the workbook with the scripts and the outlines and the visuals, it's in the description below. And if you want to know how to get more sales calls and get prospects showing up to sales calls who are 8s and 9s and 10s in terms of likeliness to sign up and give you money, we've got a whole nother video which shows you what the marketing needs to look like to get your sales calls which are red hot and ready to convert. It's called the $1 Million Plan and it's in the description below. Thanks for watching. It's been really fun. I'll talk to you soon.